All right. Beautiful. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brewcraft, a sudsy delve into D&D 5th edition home brewing. For those of you who aren't familiar with the premise, I'm going to spend the next roughly 2 hours or so with you guys, coming up with some home brews for various things, while also drinking a craft beer or two. Tonight I am drinking Swamp Ape from Florida Beer Company. Let's see if we can get a good shot of the label. This is a double IPA, which is not my favorite kind of beer. It's pretty hoppy, but we'll give it a shot. And it's from a brewing company that's across the state from me. I live in Florida, so gotta drink local, right? So let's get this poured. So tonight we'll be discussing some cryptids. For those of you who are unfamiliar with cryptids, there are creatures that are reported to exist, but there is no scientific proof of their existence. We'll be starting things off with a little feller named Jeff the Mongoose. Show of hands, people in the room who are familiar with Jeff the Mongoose. Anybody? Nobody? Well, I have the Wikipedia page pulled up, and we'll talk a little bit about Jeff. So Jeff, also referred to as the Talking Mongoose or the Dalby Spook, was the name given to the talking mongoose, which was claimed to inhabit a farmhouse owned by the Irving family. The Irving's farm was located at Cashin's Gap, near the hamlet of Dalby in the Isle of Man. The story was given extensive coverage by the tabloid press in Britain in the early 1930s. The Irvings claim gained the attention of parapsychologists and ghost hunters alike. Some investigators of the era, as well as contemporary critics, have concluded that Voirrey Irving, one of the children in the house, used ventriloquism and family collusion to perpetuate the hoax. So, basically, our little friend Jeff here is a critter that spent a lot of time in the home with the Irvings in the early 30s. And well, he's an interesting character. We'll dive a little bit more into what he's rumored to have done. So, in 1931, the Irving family, consisting of James, Margaret, and their 13-year-old daughter, Voirrey, claimed they heard persistent scratching, rustling, and vocal noises behind their farmhouse's wooden wall panels that variously resembled a ferret, a dog, or a baby. According to the Irvings, a creature named Jeff introduced itself and told them it was a mongoose born in New Delhi, India in 1852. According to Voirrey, Jeff was the size of a small rat with yellowish fur and a large bushy tail. So let's stop there for a second and we'll jump over to our little home brewery page. Good enough time as any for a sip of the Swamp Ape. It's about as powerful as I was expecting. Very hoppy. So, about the size of a rat, a large rat or a small rat. What did she say? Size of a small rat. So, let's say Jeff's a tiny creature, because rats in general in Dungeons and Dragons are tiny creatures. And then we'll jump back over here. The Irvings say that Jeff communicated to them that he was an extra clever mongoose. Very good point. We'll make sure to take a look at his intelligence later. An earthbound spirit, a ghost in the form of a mongoose, and one said, "I am a freak. I have hands and I have feet, and if you saw me, you'd faint, you'd be petrified, mummified, turned into stone or a pillar of salt." those are all going to be important things later on when we talk about his abilities. The Irvings made various claims about Jeff. He supposedly guarded their house and informed them of the approach of guests or any unfamiliar dog. They said that if someone had forgotten to put out the fire at night, Jeff would go down and stop the stove. The Irvings claimed Jeff would also wake people up when they overslept. And whenever mice got into the house, Jeff supposedly assumed the role of a cat, although he preferred to scare them rather than kill them. The Irvings say they gave Jeff biscuits, chocolates, and bananas, and food was left for him in a saucer suspended from the ceiling, which he took when he thought no one was watching. The Irvings claimed the mongoose regularly accompanied them on trips to the market, but always stayed on the other side of the hedges, chatting incessantly. The story of Jeff became popular in the tabloid press, blah, blah, blah. That stuff doesn't really seem important. Okay, I think we've got a good idea about who or what Jeff was. Nope, I minimized the wrong page. I want that. There we go. Okay, so he's a tiny creature. He almost makes himself sound omniscient or he all-knowing almost. So I'm going to make a controversial choice and say that he's a celestial. Maybe he was like sent from the gods or something. Who knows? He's a tiny celestial, and he's not evil. He does kind of some jerkish things, and he's so we'll let's say he's chaotic neutral. Chaotic neutral. All right. Armor class. We'll come back to that when we do his dexterity. Hit points we'll come back to after we do the con. Speed. From what I remember from our other articles that I've read, not just the Wikipedia page, he's pretty quick on his feet. I'm going to give him a regular speed of 50 feet. Now, being a tiny little mongoose, I would say that I'd say that his strength is probably not great. So let's give him a 4 for strength. That's going to give him a -3 as a modifier. Now dexterity, on the other hand, I'm probably going to make his big stat for being able to do attacks and stuff. I think he's probably pretty dexterous, so I'm going to give him a dexterity of 22, especially being a celestial. That's not unheard of. It's going to give him a +6 modifier. Constitution, he's probably got a pretty great constitution, eating regular people food at the time, and also being, this crazy, omnipotent mongoose being. I don't think it's superhuman or super. I don't think it's above too high above average. I'm going to say he's probably got a con of 14, which is going to give him +2. And then intelligence. He is very intelligent, but by all of his accounts. So we're going to give him an intelligence of 22 as well for a +6. Wisdom, I don't recall him having too. I always equate wisdom with like willpower and being able to control your urges. I don't recall him being super full of willpower. So I'm gonna go ahead and please, anybody in chat, if you've got suggestions, don't be afraid to voice them. This is kind of a discussion. I want to chat with you guys and see what you guys think. We'll build this thing together. Let's give him a 10 for wisdom. That's a +0. And then charisma, by all accounts, he's very charismatic and talkative. I'll give him, we'll give him, 22s across the board for those things. +6. All right. Saving throws. I imagine he's probably got proficiency in strength saving throws, just to make up for that, little drop in stats, ability scores. I don't think he needs to be proficient in any other ones. Maybe wisdom. Probably wisdom. Yeah, wisdom. We'll come back and fill in those bonuses once we decide what his challenge rating is. Skills. He's almost certainly proficient in at least acrobatics and persuasion and stealth. Maybe sleight of hand too. He's kind of like a trickster almost. All right. Oh, comma there. Okay. Damage vulnerabilities. I don't think he has damage vulnerabilities. I'm going to knock that off there. Damage resistances. Probably not too resistant to damage either. I guess you might be able to make an argument for, let me make sure my microphone is good. I want to make sure you guys can hear me. You could probably make an argument for damage resistance to maybe psychic, maybe radiant because he's supposed to be a celestial. Radiant. Yeah, we'll give him resistance to radiant damage. It's not a huge resistance, but it's something. And we could even make him resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons. Slashing from non-magical weapons. Okay. Damage immunities. I'm going to, again, say probably not completely immune to something. Condition immunities. I'm going to say that he's... and again, please, anyone in chat, if you've got ideas, please don't forget to share. For those who just joined us, we're talking about Jeff the Mongoose. He's a cryptid from the early 1930s who... it's basically a talking mongoose. Kind of made some bombastic claims, or at least purportedly made some bombastic claims that he was an omnipotent, super intelligent mongoose. Nobody's really sure what he was, or if it was a hoax, but that's the creature that we're talking about today on our Cryptids episode of Brewcraft. So condition immunities, this is where it gets tricky, because he's definitely got some chutzpah behind him, and I don't think that he would be easily manipulated. And this will also make up for his lower wisdom. It's not necessarily lower, it's just an average wisdom score. But I think that he is probably immune to being charmed. Just because I don't think that anybody would out-charm a charmer like Jeff. I don't think I would go with anything else as far as condition immunities. We can always come back to it if somebody has an idea. Passive perception is going to be... Oh, yeah, he would probably be proficient in perception too, wouldn't he? Lots of skill proficiencies for Jeff. All right. Languages. I'm just going to put all, because, I mean, he's a celestial, weird little mongoose dude. Why wouldn't he speak all languages and be understood by everybody? Let's talk traits. Let's talk traits for a second for old Jeff here. Now, this is where I want to go back to the part in his little Wikipedia article. Excuse me. Sorry, I had a long day at work. Where it says, if you saw me, you'd faint. You'd be petrified, mummified, turned into stone or a pillar of salt. Now, obviously, for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, we don't really have conditions for being mummified or turned into stone. I mean, turned into stone is equivalent to being petrified. But I think what he means petrified here, his use of petrified means that you'd be frightened. So what I'm thinking is that maybe this is just a passive trait that he has that is similar to a basilisk, at least a Dungeons and Dragons basilisk, where if you don't avert your eyes on your turn and you're actually actively looking at him or at the basilisk when you start your turn, you have a chance to become petrified or turn to stone. If you're looking at him. So what I think we're going to do here is I think we're going to give him, I don't know what to call this feature or this trait. I almost just want to call it the Jeff. Let's grab the monster manual real quick and look up the basilisk so that we can see the wording and figure out just how to word this. Wow. All right. Very cool. So while I'm looking this up, how's everybody doing today? You doing good? You know, feel free to talk in chat. I don't bite much. Okay, basilisk. Here we go. If a creature starts its turn within 30 feet of the basilisk, and the two of them can see each other, so that's important. They have to be able to see the creature, and the creature has to see them. The basilisk can force the creature to make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw if the basilisk isn't incapacitated. On a failed save, the creature magically begins to turn to stone, blah, blah, blah. So I think we're going to go with something like that. So let's say if a... Why is it doing that?
Grandma said that you might have to take me to dance.
Oh. If a creature starts its turn within 30 feet of Jeff, and the two of them can see each other. I always forget that each other has a space between each and other. So stupid. Jeff can force them to make a DC. Again, we'll come back to this when we decide on challenge rating. Constitution saving throw. If Jeff isn't incapacitated. So for this, I think what we want to do is, instead of having just the flat option of being petrified, because if we go back to our reading, he mentions being frightened and also being fainting. So I'm going to say, and also being turned into a pillar of salt, which is terrifying, I think. So let's say if the creature fails, roll a... I'm trying to think. Roll 1d6, let's say. Yeah, I think that's good. 1d6. So then we'll go here. No, that's not what we want. Come on. Formatting sucks for this part. Okay, well we'll just do this. Let's do that. There we go. That's what I want. And then we'll make this bold. One. The creature is turned into a pillar of salt. Now those odds might be a little harsh. 1 in 6 chance of being turned into a pillar of salt. But that might play into our challenge rating. We might make Jeff a little higher challenge rating. Creature is turned into a pillar of salt. Yeah. Yep. That's what's going to happen. And then on a 2 through 2 or 3. 2 or 3. The creature is... What do we have? We had frightened as an option. We had petrified. So let's put creature is restrained and must succeed on a DC blank dexterity saving throw at the start of their next turn or become petrified. That's the turn to stone. Then we'll go here and we'll say on a 4 or 5, the creature is frightened, not frightened, frightened of Jeff. While frightened in this way, the creature must use its reaction to run away. Creature doesn't. These are important things to put in the rules for Dungeons and Dragons, because then somebody might argue, well, then I'll just make the creature run into a pool of lava. So we have to include the creature doesn't knowingly move into danger. Something like that. I'll look up the proper wording later. And then on a 6, the creature becomes incapacitated for 1 minute. I think what we'll do here for the Pillar of Salt is we'll include a little stipulation. This effect may be removed by a remove curse spell. There we go. That way, your favorite character, if they encounter Jeff the Mongoose, doesn't become a Pillar of Salt permanently and then you have to start over. Your friends can get you to a cleric, or if you have a cleric in your group who is capable of casting Remove Curse, the cleric can cast Remove Curse, and you're no longer a Pillar of Salt. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I would go too much more into any other traits for Jeff. I think this is the big one. This is what's going to make him difficult to deal with if you were to, say, fight Jeff in any sort of combat situation. So let's jump back up to challenge rating and see what we want to do for challenge rating. Ooh, that's hobby. So let's see. The Basilisk we were looking at is a challenge rating 3. That's a little low, I think, for Jeff. I think I like challenge rating 8 for Jeff. Just because of the multitude of various effects that he can bestow on you. And he'll have his little attacks as well that we'll include in the action section in a second. But I think I like challenge rating 8. I just have to figure out how many experience points that grants. Challenge rating 8. Let's see, that's a 6. That's a 4. There we go, that's an 8. 3,900. Cool. Okay. 3,900 experience points for defeating Jeff the Mongoose. Alright. So, because he's a challenge rating 8, that means that his proficiency bonus for all these things we talked about up above, ooh, beer's making me gassy, is going to be a +3. So, he's proficient with strength saving throws. That's going to give him a +0. Because he's got a -3 to strength. And he's got +3 to wisdom. We can buff these two. He's gonna get +6 to wisdom saves and a +3 to strength saves because he's Jeff. Why the hell not, right? Acrobatics. He's going to end up with a plus 12 to that. I keep doing things backwards, man. Plus 12. Alright. Perception. He's going to get plus 6. Persuasion is going to be plus 12. Sleight of hand and stealth also plus 12. And I'm just giving him double proficiency bonus, which is a thing you can do when you're making a monster stat block. It's a thing that certain classes also get. Passive perception is going to be 16 because that's 10 plus your perception modifier. And then we jump up here to armor class. He's going to be completely unarmored, so that's 10 plus 6 is 16. All right. Yeah, he's probably got he's 16's a good armor class, I think. And then hit points. He's a tiny creature, so I think those get D6s, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check in the back of the book. D4s. Whew. Really? Oh yeah, because small. Duh. Okay, yeah, so he's getting D4s. Let's see what 20 D4s gets us. That's going to be plus 40 because his con is a plus 2. I can't math right now. We're going to do average of a D4 is 2.5 times 20 is 50 plus 4 is 90. With resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons, if you find him. I mean, he could be a considerable threat. Let's see what an average CR8 creature is. Nope. 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 Looking for a CR8. Here we go. 149 hit points for a Fomorian with a CR of 8. Okay, so let's say we give him 30 D4. That's going to give him plus 60 because his modifier is plus 2. Okay, 2.5. Nope, not 3. 2.5 times 30. 75 plus 60 is 135. Is that right? Yeah. 135. That sounds good. I'll take that. 135 hit points. Okay. And then we'll come down here for actions. I imagine he's probably pretty squirrely guy. Get it? Rodentia. Squirrels, mongoose. That's a terrible dad joke. Don't let me tell jokes like that, please. So we're gonna give him multi-attack. And we'll say, let's say he's got a bite and some claws because he's a mongoose. Let's say Jeff makes Jeff makes 3 attacks. One with his bite, and 2 with his claws. Then we'll give him a bite. And let's say he's got, so traditionally, because he's got a +6 and his proficiency bonus is a +3, he'd get a +9. So let's say he's got a +9 to hit. His reach is 5 feet because he's a little guy, and let's say that his bite does. No, mongoose can bite pretty hard, right? They're in the same family as ferrets. I've been bit by a ferret, I think. I don't know. Let's say his bites do 2d4 plus 6. Or sorry, yeah, no, plus 6. That's right. 2d4 plus 6. Average for that is going to be Average for that is going to be 2.5 times 2 is 5 and 6 is 11. Now here's the kicker. We're going to add something on the back of this for Jeff the Mongoose. Hey guys, whoever folks who are just joining us, we're talking about Jeff the Mongoose and creating monster stat blocks for this strange little cryptid. Here's where we're going to make things interesting, because the 11 points of damage from a regular attack, an attack from a CR8 creature is not a lot of damage. Now granted, he does have other attacks that he's going to be able to make, but I really want to add something interesting. Let's say when Jeff makes a critical hit against a creature, roll an additional. And this is actually, I think this is something that we'll put up in the features. We'll in the traits, I mean. We'll add this to the traits, because that's going to be something that's going to be normal across the board with all of his stuff. So let's give 3. Let's call this Ravenous. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Shut up, phone. Stop making weird noises. Let's call this Ravenous. And we'll say when Jeff makes a critical hit against a creature, and this is going to come into play big if he's got people petrified and paralyzed and all kinds of other stuff, because some of those things also trigger critical hits. You hope to never face Jeff? Yeah. I mean, he's definitely an interesting character. I don't want to read too much of the stuff about him just out loud, because I want to be able to move on with this stuff. But if you ever get a chance to check out some stuff online about Jeff the Mongoose, he's an interesting character for sure. So when Jeff makes a hitical crit, whew, I think I left my brain at work. When Jeff makes a critical hit against a creature, roll an additional. Alright, no, let's say he deals an additional. Let's say 3d8 radiant damage. Then we can play into the fact that he's a celestial being. You know, maybe he's the pet of a trickster god. I think that makes a lot of sense as far as what people have reported, or the people the people who encountered him reported. He deals an additional 3d8. Half of 8 is 4.5 times 3 is 12, and 3 is 15. We'll say 16. 16. That's good. Round up. Okay. An additional 16 radiant damage. There we go. That's good. Okay. So we've got that. And we'll jump back down here, and we'll do his claws. Claws are going to be a +9. Reach is going to be 5. 1 target, and when he hits, they're going to do... Let's, I think his claw... you know what? Let's make his bite a little stronger than the claws. So again, I'm pretty sure mongoose. Is that the plural of mongoose? Mongoose? That would make sense. Plural of goose is mongoose, or plural of goose is geese. Whoo! All right. 2d6. So that's gonna make half of 6 is 3.5. And I know probably some of you are listening, like, half of 6 is 3. Well, when we average dice rolls, it's additional half of a number higher. 3.5 times 2 is 6, and 1, 7. So that's going to make it 13. Would have been just easier to say, oh, I added 2. Duh. 2d4 for the claws, plus 6. Because he's a dexterous little sumbitch. And that was 11 before. And we can get rid of all this extra gobbledygook because we don't need it. And yeah, I think Jeff the mongoose is looking pretty spiffy. Now I'm going to jump over to my handy dandy CR calculator and see just how good we were at figuring out Jeff's challenge rating. And we'll see if we need to modify him in any way. Okay, average hit points 135. Armor class 16. Average damage per round 22, and 13 is 35. We're not gonna include the 3d8 because he's not gonna always crit. Biggest thing is attack bonus. Oh, we need to go back and fix the DCs for that. That reminds me. So let's see. DC. You know what? Let's see what his DC should be. Let's say the DC is a 617. Generate monster. CR6. You know, I feel comfortable calling him a CR8, even without the other stuff. So we'll give him a DC 17. We'll say DC 17 Constitution saving throw. I know what a lot of you are thinking now, especially like Batnut. I hope I never face Jeff. So I don't think I could survive a DC 17 saving throw to not be turned into a pillar of salt or petrified. And then we need to make that a DC 17 as well. DC 17 dexterity saving throw. Bup, 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 bup. Okay. Yeah, I think Jeff is done. I think he's done. So we'll wave goodbye to Jeff. Bye, Jeff. You were fun making. It was fun making you. Words. What are words? So we'll and then we're gonna scroll down to our next cryptid. Spring-heeled Jack. Is anybody in chat familiar with Spring-heeled Jack? He's an interesting cat too. Let me pull up my stuff about him. Where's that? There's that. And here's this. Let's put this with that. Okay. Yes, goodbye, Jeff. Make their lives hell. Alright, so let's talk about Spring-heeled Jack. For those of you unfamiliar with who's or what Spring-heeled Jack. God. Blah, blah, blah. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Gotta loosen the tongue. Spring-heeled Jack is an entity in English folklore of the Victorian era. The first claimed sighting of Spring-heeled Jack was in 1837. Later sightings were reported all over Great Britain and were especially prevalent in suburban London, the Midlands, and Scotland. There are many theories about the nature and identity of Spring-heeled Jack. This urban legend was very popular in its time due to the tales of his bizarre appearance and the ability to make extraordinary leaps, to the point that he became the topic of several works of fiction. Spring-heeled Jack was described by people who claimed to have seen him as having a terrifying and frightful appearance, with diabolical physiognomy. Physiognomy? That's a word, huh? That's one that I've never seen before. Physiognomy. Clawed hands and eyes that resembled red balls of fire. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. One report claimed that beneath a black cloak he wore a helmet and a tight-fitting white garment like an oilskin. Again, something I'm not super familiar with, oilskin. Many stories also mention a devil-like aspect, so maybe a fiend. We'll see. Maybe Spring-heeled Jack's a fiend. Devil-like aspect. Others said he was tall and thin, with the appearance of a gentleman. Several reports mentioned that he could breathe out blue and white flames, and that he wore sharp metallic claws at his fingertips. Very Freddy Krueger-esque. At least 2 people claimed that he was able to speak comprehensible English. So, we know he speaks common. That's good. Let's jump down here to some sightings, maybe. Here we go. Scales and Alsop reports. Jane Alsop reported that one night of 19 February 1838, she answered the door of her father's house to a man claiming to be a police officer. He told her to bring a light, claiming, "We've caught Spring-heeled Jack here in the lane." She brought the person a candle and noticed that he wore a large cloak. The moment she handed him the candle, however, he threw off the cloak, presented a most hideous and frightful appearance, vomiting blue and white flame from his mouth while his eyes resembled red balls of fire. Ms. Alsop reported that he wore a large helmet and that his clothing, which appeared to be very tight-fitting, resembled white oilskin. I'll have to figure out what oilskin is. Without saying a word, he caught hold of her and began tearing her gown with his claws, which she was certain were of some metallic substance. She screamed for help and managed to get away from him and ran towards the house. He caught her on the steps and tore her neck and arms with his claws. She was rescued by one of her sisters, after which her assailant fled. Intriguing. 8 days after the attack on Ms. Alsop on 28 February 1838, 18-year-old Lucy Scales and her sister were returning home after visiting their brother, a butcher who lived in the respectable part of Limehouse. Ms. Scales stated in her deposition to the police that as she and her sister were passing along Green Dragon Alley. Green Dragon Alley? That sounds like something from D&D. They observed a person standing in an angle of the passage. She was walking in front of her sister at the time, and just as she came up to the person, who was wearing a large cloak, he spurted a quantity of blue flame, quote unquote, in her face, which deprived her of her sight, and so alarmed her that she instantly dropped to the ground and was seized with violent fits which continued for several hours. Her brother added that on the evening in question he had heard the loud screams of one of his sisters moments after they had left his house, and on running up Green Dragon Alley, he found his sister Lucy on the ground in a fit, with her sister attempting to hold and support her. She was taken home and then learned from his other sister what had happened. She described Lucy's assailant as being of tall, thin, and gentlemanly appearance, covered in large cloak, and carrying a small lamp or bullseye lantern similar to those used by police. The individual did not speak, nor did he try to lay hands on them, but instead walked quickly away. Every effort was made by the police to discover the author of these similar outrages, and several persons were questioned but were set free. So, those are some of the encounters, the reported encounters of Spring-Heeled Jack, and a little bit of information on him. So, let's jump into Spring-Heeled Jack. But jumping, Spring-Heeled. Yes, terrible dad jokes. Don't let me tell dad jokes. Actually, before we do that, I think it's time for a refill. So, we're going to take a short break, and I'm going to grab a refill, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back to discuss Spring-Heeled Jack. Got some more beer here. Lovely Swamp Ape Double IPA from Florida Beer Company. Okay, let's do it. So, first off, I think when we read through what Spring-Heeled Jack was, or what people believed him to be, he definitely had the appearance of some sort of, demon or devil. So I'm going to go ahead and call him a fiend. He's going to be a medium creature, so a medium fiend. And we'll say he's chaotic evil. Definitely a chaotic slant for Spring-Heeled Jack, for sure. We'll skip armor class and hit points for now. Speed, I imagine he's probably pretty light on his feet. I'm going to hazard a guess that he might have a 60-foot movement speed. You know, voice your opinions in chat if you guys have them. I welcome the discussion. Yeah, let's dive in here. Let me just do something real quick. Yeah. All right. So strength. He's probably strong, but strength is probably not his major thing. I'm gonna say strength is probably he's probably pretty strong, but it's not his main thing. I'm gonna say his strength is maybe an 18, maybe +4. We can always go back and change it later. Dexterity. I mean, he's Spring-Heeled Jack for a reason, right? He's jumping around, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So we'll give him a 20 dex. Okay, maybe not quite as high as Jeff's, but we can always go back and change it if we feel like it's, not enough. Constitution. There's not really a lot of mention of his stamina or iron, his fortitude. In any of the stories, I'm gonna give him above average Constitution just because I think that makes sense. Let's give him a 14. That's gonna give him a +2. And then intelligence. He's an intelligent creature, but maybe intelligence isn't his big thing. Let's say for intelligence we'll give him a 16 for now. That's going to be a +3. Wisdom, probably the same for a +3. Nah, his wisdom is probably going to be like a 14. Ooh, excuse me. And then charisma, we'll give him a 16 in charisma too. I think Spring-Heeled Jack is probably, and you know what? Screw it. He's Spring-Heeled Jack, right? Let's give him a 24 dexterity just to see, just get real crazy with it and see where we go. All right. Saving throws. I'd say he's likely proficient in con saving throws. So con plus comma. He's probably proficient in intelligence saving throws. He's probably proficient in all of the mental stat saving throws. Wiz and Cha for charisma. CHA Cha. Skills. Acrobatics for sure, right? He's Spring-Heeled Jack for a dang reason, right? Dang old Spring-Heeled Jack. Okay. acrobatics. And then we'll say probably stealth. Intimidation probably is a good one. Feel free to shout these out if you guys have ideas in chat. I welcome the collaborative effort. What am I doing? Plus. No, stop. There we go. And stealth. Plus. Okay. Vulnerabilities. I don't think he's got it. Vulnerabilities. Resistances. I'm going to say with fire breathing, probably fire. I'm going to say probably bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons, because that's your standard for most of the higher CR magic-y creatures. Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical fire. For sure. Immunities, probably not. Probably no damage immunities anyway. Condition immunities. This is interesting because I think this is an opportunity for us to really play up the fact that this creature, this spring-heeled jack, is very difficult to catch, right? You can't really pin him down. So I'm going to say that he's immune to being all of the stuff that makes you stop moving. He's immune to being restrained. We should probably do these in alphabetical order just for organization's sake. So let's say paralyzed, stunned, restrained, prone, grappled. Grappled is the first one. Grappled, paralyzed, prone, restrained, stunned. All of those. Maybe that's controversial. Again, voice your opinions in chat. But I think that makes sense for this guy. I think that him being completely incapable of being pinned down and stopped from moving, it's almost like he's got a constant field of freedom of movement going on. Sort of. Passive perception will come back to languages. I'm going to say common. And this is where we really decide whether he's a devil or a demon. He's chaotic, so obviously he's going to be a demon, right? So he would speak abyssal. And yeah, I think common and abyssal is the two. Common and abyssal. That's fine. I don't think he needs to speak any more languages. Okay. Okay. So here we're going to do... We're going to skip the traits for now. Let's go ahead and do actions. Let's talk actions, shall we? He's going to have a multi-attack, for sure. He's going to be a higher CR creature, almost definitely. So he's going to have a multi-attack. He's got those metal-bladed claws, right? So his multi-attack is going to consist of Spring-heeled Jack makes 4 attacks. Makes 4 claw attacks as his multi-attack. Because he's fast. He's almost like... God, I can't remember the actor who played Toad in the original X-Men movie. The guy that also did Darth Maul. Something, Ray something, or something, I can't remember. Anyway, he played a character in the last season of Heroes, where they were at like the carnival or whatever, the traveling circus, and he was the super fast guy with the blades. So kind of like that. He's gonna be super fast and make like 4 quick claw strikes with those metal claws on his fingertips. Yeah, and then we'll get into like a fire breath type thing after that. But first, let's do his claws. So we want to make sure that we include metal claws. 4 metal claw attacks. Okay, melee weapon attack, of course, and then that's going to be. Oh, we should figure out his challenge rating then now. Challenge rating, Ray Park. Thank you. I knew it was Ray something. Alright, so what kind of challenge rating do we think we should give Spring Heel Jack? I'm going to turn it over to you guys in chat. You guys have been pretty quiet except for Batnut. I want to hear from you guys. The audience participation is important. So, what challenge rating do we think we want to give Spring Heel Jack? Obviously, he's going to have a lot of attacks, so keep in mind that that's gonna skew his challenge rating a little bit. We haven't decided on his hit points yet. But yeah, I want to just ballpark it. For instance, I'll give you guys. So we gave Jeff a CR of 8. And that was because of some of those big resistances that he has and a lot of the big conditions that he can impart on people that will slow them down or stop them in their tracks or turn them to a pillar of salt, which isn't a condition, but still. He has a CR8. That's also the challenge rating for a Fomorian, which is kind of a mutated giant creature. They make 2 great club attacks or 1 great club, and then they use this feature called the Evil Eye, which is interesting. So if they make 2 great club attacks, they deal... Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, wow. The Evil Eye has potential to do 68 damage. And then, so that would be a total of 9d8 potential damage with 1 great club and an Evil Eye. That's a total of... 19 and 27 is... My brain doesn't work anymore. 9 and 7 is 16. That 46. Let's look at a CR10 creature. Let's see what a CR10 creature looks like. Here we go. A CR10 creature. Stone Golem. I have to train myself. Golem is... Golem! Oh! Golem is in the Lord of the Rings. Golem is the creature. Alright. So Stone Golem has an armor class of 17, 178 hit points, average... A couple of things that it's completely immune to. That's pretty cool. Condition immunities we got for Spring Heel Jack out the wazoo. Golem makes 2 slam attacks. Average of 19. So that's only 38 points of damage on average in a turn. It's also resistant to magic. Which might be interesting to give Spring Heel Jack as a feature. Maybe we'll give him magic resistance. And magical weapons. Why not? We'll say that his claws are magical. That way we can avoid any hinky weird things that say, oh, well, he's slashing damage. My thing makes it so that I don't get hurt by magic things, or I don't get hurt by things that aren't magic. Magical weapons. Okay. So magic resistance. Spring, heal, Jack. Has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Okay, and then magic weapons. Magic weapons, not magical weapons. Magic weapons. Okay. Oh, what are you doing? Get back there, cursor. Get back in your spot. Spring, heal, Jax. Weapons are magical. Okay. So back to meta clause. Or sorry, back to challenge rating. I think let's give him a tentative challenge rating of 10. I think that's a good number. I think I feel comfortable with that. That nets 5,900 XP, and then we'll jump back down to clause. So, using his dexterity of 24, which is a +7, and CR 10 gives him a proficiency bonus of +4. So that's going to give us a +11 to attacks, +11 to hit. That's a pretty hefty number. That's, I mean, basically if you roll at least a 9, you're going to get a 20 to hit. All right. So we may be adjusting his challenge rating because I think that may skew things a little bit. Reach 5 feet. Target is gonna get. Let's say. He's attacking 4 times. I'm just gonna give him a D8 +7 for his attacks, because I think that'll balance it out if he attacks 4 times. 1d8 +7, so half of that is 4.5, and +7 is 11. We'll round up to 12. So 12 points of damage on average, and if he hits every attack on a multi-attack, he's gonna do 48 points of damage on average. I think that's good. I think I'm comfortable with that. Now let's go and give him a fire breath. Now, in the thing it mentioned 2, and let's pull that back up. In the article it mentioned 2 different kinds of fire breath, that he breathed blue and white flame. And if I'm remembering correctly, quantity of blue flame. So the blue flame, when he breathed the blue flame into Lucy Scales' face, it blinded her. So I think that what might be cool is if we give him 2 different kinds of breath. So let's say blue quote fire breath, because it's not actually going to be burning anything, it's just kind of the aesthetic of being fire breath, right? Then we'll get rid of all this because we don't need all that gobbledygook. Blue fire breath. Okay, so let's say spring healed, and I think that he's a small enough creature that his breath weapon isn't going to be like a huge like cone or anything like a dragon might have, or anything that's bigger than a medium creature. I'm thinking that maybe we just go with him choosing a target, a single target for these breath things. Or at least the blue one. At least the blue one he's going to choose one target. Spring Heel Jack chooses a target he can see within 10 feet of him. The target must succeed on a DC. We'll figure that out. Let's say, so if he's a CR10 plus 4, let's say DC 17. Yeah, let's say DC 17. DC 17. Constitution saving throw, or be blinded for 1 minute. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Okay, so that's our blue fire breath. So then we'll do a red fire breath. Okay. Or white fire breath. Sorry, white fire breath. And this one's not in quotations because this is going to be the real fire breath. And we'll get rid of that stuff. Now, white fire, as many of you know, is a very hot flame. I believe it's hotter than blue. I'm not a scientist. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it's hotter than blue. So, let's say the white fire breath is a cone. Spring Heel Jack. Exhales a gout of flames. Not films, flames. Learn to type. Okay. In a 15-foot cone. So it'll be almost equivalent to the cone. It will be equivalent to the cone size of Burning Hands. 15-foot cone. Any creature in the area must succeed, or not must succeed, makes a DC 17 dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes let's take a look. Burning Hands is only 3d6 if I remember correctly. Chat, can I get a look up on Burning Hands? 3d6, is that correct? I'm not really sure. I haven't used Burning Hands in forever. As a player, anyway. Let's take a look at some dragons and see what their comparable breath weapons are. It's particularly the fire ones. A gold dragon works. Breath weapon. Fire breath. Okay, so here we go. A gold dragon wormling. Their fire breath is a 15-foot cone. And they deal 4d10 fire damage. I think he's going to have more damage than that, but I think the tightness of the cone makes sense for... Huh, interesting. So if we're burning organic matter, which I imagine that if it's coming out of an organic creature, it's burning organic matter, then the white fire is hotter. But inorganic matter, blue is hotter. Interesting. All right, so 3d6 for burning hands. Yeah, that's what I thought. I think that's too low. I think even like something like 4d10 might be a little too low. I think we might go somewhere between. Oh, here we go. A young gold dragon is a CR10. That helps, right? And their breath weapon does 10d10 fire damage. I think that's good. I think that's a good juxtaposition. Oh, and we need to actually figure out these recharges on these things. I think this blue fire breath probably recharge on a 6. Let's do 4 to 6. Why not? Recharge on a 4 to 6. And then the white fire breath probably is going to recharge on a 5 to 6. DC 17 on a failed save. Creature takes. I'm gonna say. Let's do 12d8. It's gonna be a little higher average. Yeah, 12d8 sounds good. 12d8 fire damage. Then that's math. 4.5 times 12, 54. So it's actually almost the same average as the young gold dragon. So 54 is actually 1 point less on average. Okay. 54 points of fire damage on average. 12d8 fire damage. And half as much on a success. Whew! Alright. Metal claws. Right? Metal claws, all that. I can't really think of any other traits that I would give him. As far as... Oh, jumping. Duh. Brain fart. What's the thing that bullywugs have that doubles their jump speed or something? Standing leap. Long jump is up to 20 feet. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want to give him. Standing leap. Spring. Healed jacks. Long jump is up to 20 feet. And his high jump is up to 10 feet. There we go. With or without a running start. And then all we gotta do is go back here and fill in our modifiers for our saving throws and skills. Let's see if we're on the money with our CR first. Let's go to our calculator here. Oh, we need to figure out hit points first. So he's a medium creature, so he has D8s as his hit dice. Let's go back to that Gold dragon. Nope. Wrong direction. Metallic dragons. Gold dragon. 178 hit points. 17d10. So let's see what 20d8 gets us. That's going to be 20d8 plus 40. Because his con is a plus 2. Uh, 4.5 times 20. 90 plus 40 is 130. It's a little short for our CR10 creature. Although he does have all those condition immunities, so it's going to be tough to lock him down for sure. Let's check out. Let's see 25d8. 4.5 times 25. Round up to 113. And that goes up to 50. So 163. It's a little closer. Let's see how we do with that. 163 average. So 163 average hit points. Armor class. I don't think he's wearing armor, so that's going to be 17. Armor class is 17. Average damage per round. His big thing is 54 damage with the thing. Save DC. Yeah, that feels about right. Feels about right. It's saying CR9. I'm comfortable with giving him the bump with all the condition immunities and stuff to a CR10 creature. I think it makes sense. So yeah, let's go back and fill in our saving throws. So con is 2 plus 4 is 6. And int is 3 plus 4 is 7. Wiz is 2 plus 4 is 6. Charisma is 3 plus 4 is 7. Acrobatics, we're going to give him a big bump and double that proficiency bonus. He's going to have an insane acrobatics modifier of 15, plus 15 to acrobatics. Just because he's Spring-Heeled Jack. Intimidation is a charisma thing. That's going to be plus 7. Actually, let's give him expertise in that too. 11 for intimidation. I think he can be a pretty intimidating guy. And stealth. I don't think he's super stealthy. We'll just give him the regular bonus. So that's going to give him plus 11 stealth too. All right. Looking good. Looking good. What time is it? 7:40? Yeah, that feels good. That feels right. I had a couple of other things primed if we ran short on time. We were probably going to work on some other... Well, this is not going to be the last Cryptids episode of Brewcraft by far. I'm going to be doing more episodes where we make Cryptids into stats, monster stat blocks. Before I get out of here, though, before I sign off, a few brief little announcement things. One, I'm going to be starting either a Dropbox or a Google Drive where I'll put all of my creations that I make on this show, and I'll be sharing the link. But in order to get access to the link, you're going to have to join our Roll Call Discord. Where might I find a link for a Roll Call Discord, you might be asking yourself. Well, if you look down the page in our little doobly-doo section with all the little information, you'll see a little thing, a little banner that says community with a little Discord logo on it, I believe. Pretty sure. I made it. Who knows? If you click on that, that's a link to our Discord server. It is now live, so you can join our Discord server. We're going to be doing updates for all of our shows that are coming down the pipeline. We're going to be doing community polls and stuff. That's probably where I'm going to be posting polls for our upcoming episodes of Brewcraft to see what you guys are interested in seeing. So please join our Discord chat. Our Discord server is brand new. We need folks to fill it. Number 2. For those of you who have been watching or are interested in watching, we have coming up this week is one of our on weeks for the roll call D&D game that we do every other Sunday here on this Twitch. So please join us this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's 4 p.m. Pacific. Math. Join us this Sunday. We'll be continuing our story in the land of Lumera. Our heroes are on a train heading for the capital city of Ren in the country of Zaldin. And there's a train robbery going on. Yeah, go figure. Real creative thinking on the part of the DM to have a train robbery. I'm the DM. Please join us then. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at RollCallRP. That's ROLE, not ROLL. If you follow at ROLL call RP, you're going to find a now defunct thing that hasn't been used since 2017, but for some reason they still have it. At ROLECALLRP. Also, if you want to check out our previous shows, yes. If you want to check out our previous shows and you don't feel like watching them on the VODs here on Twitch, you can check us out on YouTube. That link is also below. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's all my announcements. Thank you, everyone who joined me tonight. I'm thinking that next episode is probably going. I'm probably going to stray away from monster stat blocks. If you join the Discord, you'll find out, what my ideas are, what my thoughts are for what we want to do next episode. Maybe we'll do a warlock subclass. Who knows? Anyway, thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.